Hello, old friends. Hello. Someone just went, it's Valentine's Day. Yeah, and? And your point would be? I have a feeling it's probably going to be a few readings that come out today. It really wouldn't surprise me. People waiting specifically just for this day to speak. Okay, I'm getting the sense that like somebody could be chasing something that's hurting them, like chasing a high, chasing some type of paradigm that no longer works for them. Okay, and the universe is kind of trying to tell you to separate from it. You know, what I'm getting is actually the first thing that came to me, which is really weird. Usually, sometimes it starts this fast, sometimes it doesn't. But what I got was Jelly Roll, and he's had like a battle with weight for a really, really long time. And it's not a battle with weight, he says. It's a battle of wanting to live. It's a choice that he makes. And right now, he's actually doing really good. He's really starting to try to get to a healthier level in his life, right? Because sure, you can, you know, appreciate yourself and how much you work hard, but appreciation isn't love, right? So what I'm getting is like somebody could be indulging in something, you know, because they like it and they're you know, they're starting to get excited about it or something, but it's really, really detrimental for this person's health, apparently. You know, like Jelly Roll eating too much, right? Like, sure, yeah, he loves food. He probably wants to eat all the time. Like a lot of people, you know, he's a stoner. Stoners like to eat, but it doesn't mean that it's good for them. They're hungry or they actually need it per se. There are a lot of times in the day where I feel like I could eat something and then I'm like, you know what, honestly, you know what? I feel I am bored. And it's not that I'm hungry. I just don't have anything to do. There's a lack of things to do. So you start doing something that maybe you shouldn't. Now I'm getting like Nintendo. Somebody could be playing PlayStation way too much or playing their games way too much. And it's getting into their life. It's filtering into their life because games do that, right? It's such a simulation for people to get out of negative energy, right? That they just simulate a game, right, to give them life, basically, is kind of like what they're looking for. They're almost looking for an alternative, okay, per se, to living. It's almost like I'm getting that movie Surrogates as well, you know, with Bruce Willis back in that old movie. And people actually, they stop going out in public. They get surrogates instead, and they control them via what looks like a tanning salon / coffin, and their human body stays safe at home. Really fucking weird. I don't really suggest that type of living for anybody, but that's what I'm getting is like, it's not, something is not good for somebody, okay? And they're not seeing why. And when we don't see why something is not good for us, okay, it begins to start to kind of like hurt other people. It starts to hurt other parts of our life, right? So I'm trying to get comfortable in this shirt. I just snorted. I do that a lot. So I feel like somebody is definitely in, like they're being used by something, you know? And it's time for liberation. It's time for something new. It's time to separate from this. I do feel like by getting out of this, okay, could be quitting smoking, right? Like you feel like it's good for you in the moment because it's taking the stress away, but really it's slowly killing your body. Like anybody knows what cigarettes do, right? They slowly kind of like kill you. It could be something like that too, right? The spirit is trying to tell you, trying to kind of like warn you about something. And you need to separate from it. Like jelly roll in his food. Got to separate from it because you have to allow yourself to take control, right? And that's how you express how much you feel for yourself, how much you love for yourself. Like exactly what jelly roll says. It's a will to live. It's not a choice necessarily about wanting to stay big or wanting to get small. He just had no desire to live a healthy life, right? And like sometimes you need to find what makes you want to be a better person, or find what makes you want to love yourself more, like longevity. Like somebody almost knows that if they continue down this road, they're going to die. And that's the thing, is like if he doesn't start losing weight, he looks like he's pushing almost 400 pounds. And the reason why I say that is because I knew somebody who was 400 pounds. He was like 380 or almost 400, and he was losing the ability to walk. I don't think Jelly is like that big. He's maybe like over 300, but still that's like, and people have to get, people have to be weary of that too, because it's like being a smoker for 40 years. You can't just stop smoking, you know what I mean? And then find an alternative. You either quit cold turkey and stop. Don't find an alternative, because a lot of people go into those vape pens, and vape pens are the opposite of smoke. Smoke dries your lungs out. Vape pens moisturize your lungs. Your lungs have already water in them. They don't need any more. So when you're smoking, your lungs could be dry, and then people want to replace it. Honestly, if you're going to replace smoking, replace it with something that just doesn't have nicotine in it for a bit, if that's what you have to do, right? Don't do an inhaler. Those are so bad for you. Like any smoking in general is bad for you. Even smoking weed. I mean, it harms your lungs. Right? That's where this is coming from. It's like, cigarette smoke, it burns the inside of your nose hairs. It can burn the inside of your throat hairs. You start losing taste, right? You start getting sick, susceptible to more infections, because your natural defenses have been cut down because of all the abuse in cigarettes, right? Cigarettes are a really hard thing to stop. And like I would snag drags off my sister's smokes all the time while I was quitting, until all of a sudden I felt sick and nauseated every time I smoked. And like that's usually what happens. Once the nicotine gets out of your blood, it doesn't really take that long. And then you start taking drags of smokes and you realize how gross they are. I smoke nicotine-free, smoke-free cocoa bean sticks, and I smoke those when I feel like I need to have a cigarette. Or I'm at work and people are going outside for smokes, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go out. Like I want to go out. I want to talk with everybody on the smoking section. And I love this, and if I can't smoke weed because I'm working, then I smoke my smoke-free cocoa bean sticks that you can get right off Amazon, right? They're getting a little bit expensive. They're like $5 a pack, but still, I mean, $5 a pack is not $25 a pack, which is what cigarettes are going for now, right? So it's like that will to live, like you're chasing something because you like yourself, like people like smoking, they enjoy it, they like eating, they like overindulging, they like playing too many video games, which I think actually Jelly Roll is like obsessed with gaming as well. So not only does he eat, but he sits around, smokes weed, and fucking plays Nintendo. That's really hard to find the motivation to get up and fucking walk around, right? Clearly, he doesn't really have to. He's a singer. He can literally sit there and make millions and not move if he really wanted to. That's also even more dangerous, because stagnicity leads to like disease of the mind. You start trailing off on things you should not be trailing off of. You start going downhill. You go on decline basically really quickly, right? So we've got this Queen of Presents, Three of Potions in reverse, absolutely, with Nine of Presents in reverse. So honestly, maybe you're doing something because you have the money, right? And you can afford it. And what I'm realizing is when I'm either rich or evicted, okay, literally. And when I'm starting to get money, I start to buy a little bit too much food. I buy a little bit too much weed because I feel good about myself. I'm making money again, you know? But what I'm realizing is I'm starting to like cut down on a lot of things because I don't need as much as even what I'm consuming. And like, I'm a person who consumes like maybe 1 to 2 meals a day, right? I don't eat, I snack. I always have. I'm very uncomfortable eating big meals because my stomach is very small. So I don't like to indulge in food, but I like snacking because I'm a fucking stoner. So 2 and 2 kind of meet together. But now I'm noticing that like I don't need as much. Like I need a little bit. My body needs sugar. It needs a lot of sugar and chocolate, surprisingly. And it just keeps me so much better, like in red meat. Like there are certain things that I can eat and it completely changes my mood. And I'm like, wow, my body really needed that. Like I was having a Crohn's flare up for the last like week or so now. And I had some red meat yesterday and the day before. And what red meat does is it actually helps your intestines. It helps the inflammation of everything and it helps things to start moving. Surprisingly, despite what my stepmother says, that red meat bungs her up, okay, it actually is really good for you. I think she makes up things. I think people make up things in their head so then they don't do the healthy way, right? Like, because that's the demon on your back. That's something telling you to indulge in something for a dangerous way. And then the more safer, healthier ways you're dodging because you want to do that dangerous road. And that's the act of liking yourself, okay? When you like yourself, you're dating yourself, you put yourself in harm's way. When you love yourself, and when you separate from that I like you phase, right? You fall in love with yourself, then you separate from the things that are hurting you, aka overrun paradigms that you've outgrown. Okay, you're using yourself, using your body, using things when your body is on your side. It's not on the opposite. You need to pay attention to you and what you're doing, right? And having your back. That's the I love you that somebody needs to deliver to themselves, right? Just because you have the money, it doesn't mean that these things are your friends. 3 of Cups in reverse. Right? And a lot of things of like people who use you for money. Do you realize like when you don't have money, fucking friends scatter like roaches. They don't want anything to do with you. And then all of a sudden when you're going really good again, suddenly people want to come back again because you're in better energy and they don't have to help you. People who have to help other people generally will just run away. They don't want anything to do with it. They're already on their own island of themselves. They don't want to help you, even if they can help you, right? To help somebody shows that you're supporting them. And then some people take advantage of that support. They take advantage of that help. They take advantage of that person. And that person doesn't want to help anybody anymore because they feel like they have to go above and beyond when they're barely making it as it is. That's why you need to incorporate things that are called balance, right? Incorporate where you're giving yourself away too much and when you're not giving yourself enough, right? When you do have the moment to reach out and help somebody and when you do have to stay at home and chill and be in your own energy, right? Those are things that you learn about yourself. Those are traits that you learn about yourself. So then you stop taking everything away from yourself, right? Take your humbleness away from you, take your freedom away from you, take your time away from you, right? Because the thing is along with friends, like, yeah, sure, friends are great to have. They're always great to have around, but they also take up a lot of your fucking time. They take up a lot of your energy. My stepmother thought she was obsessed with friends. And when I didn't have friends at a time because I had to separate from people, she basically called me a fucking loser and wanted me out of her house because I wasn't going out and hanging out with people. She thought that was unhealthy. To have time alone by myself. How is that unhealthy? I've been giving people myself since the day I was born, and now I'm taking 2 minutes literally on a lifespan with this little bit of time I took equals 2 minutes to my entire fucking life belt. And she got pissed off about it, right? Because when you separate from yourself, that means you're separating from different people's realities to gain your own perspective. That's like an introspection fucking mission completed. Like to even do that, to even wipe away consumerism, to even think that there's a different way to do it, you're already on a higher level than most people because most people see what's in front of them and that's the answer. People who don't want to see what's in front of them as the answer will look above and beyond and we'll find that answer. It's just a different way. And then we get deemed as losers or as fucking idiots or like, oof, how weird is that person? Because we chose to do something a completely different way than normal society does it. That ends up getting trapped in their own realities, in their own lives. I don't want to be trapped in my life. Right? Like, why would you want to be trapped in your life? But people who are massively traumatized want to get trapped in their lives. So then people won't leave them. So they can just stay put. Nothing happens. Guess what, honey? Things are going to happen every single fucking day. You cannot shelter yourself from them. You cannot you cannot take yourself away from the dealings of life. They will come back around, even when you come out of your solitude. But then you come out of your solitude knowing that you've got a fucking kick-ass point of view and you're willing to be with society amongst their views as well, right? So I feel like, you know, just because you have the money, oh, what's on the bottom here? Look at that. The stars on the bottom and like stopping me from shuffling. So there's Aquarius on the bottom with the Tower. And then it just so happens that the Knight of Wands is right underneath that bad boy. Okay, with the Page of Presents, the Page of Pentacles. Okay, and the message that I'm getting with that right there, very, very, very simple, is the connection is what makes everything crumble, right? Once you connect with yourself, it crumbles a lot of society's mirages that they've put around you to believe, right? So if somebody connects to themselves, which gives the Tower to this Knight of Wands, and the Knight of Wands is the thing, the Knight of Needles. You know what? I think I read this guy as the Knight of Wands every single fucking time. Isn't that crazy? I really think I do because he's the devil. So I'm thinking Knight of Wands, but it's the fucking Knight of Needles, which is the Knight of Swords. It's like connecting and pulling down that tower that you know, okay, is due to go. Right? This idea, okay, is not suiting you anymore. It's an immature, preconceived notion of something that's not jamming with your vibration now. So you're separating from it and gaining your perspective on your life again, right? Taking control of your money back again, taking control of who you think are your friends when your friends can be your biggest fucking enemies because they're bringing you down roads because you think you need people to hang out with when really you don't. Okay? You don't need people to hang out with. All right. You need people to connect with, people who bring you to the right step, people who do things for you because they care about you, not people that are willing to sacrifice you and your friendship to get what they want. Ooh, there's Strength, Leo with the Hermit. Okay, so we got Aquarius, Leo, and Virgo in the house. So honestly, there's a lot of strength I find in hiding. It's not hiding in a way that you block yourself off from people, but it's hiding in a way that you keep yourself away from negative energies and not contribute to things that you don't need to. Because if you don't need to be a part of it, why are you there? Right? Like if you really feel like you have to be out and about and doing something, so be it. But when you come to that conclusion that like your time is everything and your time is of essence and to just waste it on things, right? That's what's hurting somebody, is to waste their time now. And the strength is transition. The strength is to move. And that's really hard when you've got people around you for your whole life. Like if you've had people that you're still hanging out with from high school, or you got people that you're still hanging out with from elementary school because it's a small town, it's really hard to like get away from those energies, right? But at the same time, people have to respect you and your boundaries and your ability to grow. And it is going to be hard to get away from people. And it is going to be hard to stop eating or stop gaming and get back into your life. But as you start getting back into your life, you actually forget about all those things that used to distract you from life. Right? Because that's really what it is. Drinking is a distraction. Gaming is a distraction. Smoking is a distraction. They're all distractions. They're to take you out of something. Right? And then that's what I always said to myself. Like before I quit smoking, I was always like, well, what am I going to do? Like with that time, all of a sudden that I have, like that I would give to cigarettes. And now I'm in my life. What do you mean time? I have tons of time to sit and smoke cigarettes, but I don't. because I don't want to, right? And I'm not crashing on people who are smoking. I really am not. I don't care if people smoke or don't smoke. That's none of my business. I preferably don't like it in my lungs. But my sister has been smoking around me for a fucking decade, 3-4 decades. So like, I give a fuck. Like, it doesn't bother me in that sense, but it's like hiding, you know, like there's no harm in getting away from something for a little while until you learn how to incorporate it again and do it differently, right? Like if you decide to stop drinking but you still want to go to bars, there's a way to do that, right? There is a way. You just have to be stronger than most people and resist the urge to go back on your word. This is somebody that has to connect with their word, and their word, your word is your honor. That's how you represent yourself. If you say something, follow through with it for yourself. Because if you slack on the things that you say for yourself and those standards you set for yourself, then you let everybody slack around you too, right? Well, it's only life. Like, it shouldn't be taken that seriously. But there is a seriousness to be taken in a form of still being free. You still have to be responsible, right? So, what an interesting reading. I'm really going to say, like, oh, I lost me pen. What the fuck is the point of having a book if I don't have a pen? But I almost feel like this is like, it's like beating addiction. This is like beating addiction. It's like getting the call that you love yourself more than this awful road you're putting yourself down. Which is, like, in my eyes, bad ass. So, keep that in mind. All right? I'm all for sobriety and smoke free. And I do drink, but I drink medicinally. And that only consists of about a shot at a time, like 1 ounce of liquor at a time, through like multiple days in between. I only drink an ounce of liquor, that's it, when I have to de-stress, literally, because I have a really bad heart, and I have an irregular heartbeat, and I've had it for a very long time. And when I get stressed out, my heart wants to explode. Like, I've had multiple anxiety attacks, which are like very, very, very close to heart attacks, right? Stress related, that if I stress out anymore, I don't think my body can handle it. So I have to smoke weed, right? Smoking weed connects me, grounds me, makes me know that I'm here and I'm alive and this is the journey and we're going to get through it. And then I have that ounce of liquor to release myself from the stresses of life that are being held over my head by irresponsible parents. Right? I'm still dealing with things that my parents did to me 20, 30 fucking years ago. And I don't know if I'll ever fully be out of it. I just know that it's a journey. And every day is a new day. And every day that something happens is another day to reflect on what the fuck that was about. You know, why did I get led down that path today? Why is this path happening? Why is this person doing, you know, like so many things are kind of being found out right now in my kind of set of life that, like, I'm okay with how things are going. You know what I mean? Like letting go of addiction, that was like one of the best things I ever could have possibly done for myself, to be honest, because it really it allowed me to take back my life. Like, really, honestly, like, what am I going to do with my time I'm not smoking? I couldn't even believe I said that to myself. Like, you know, as if it deserved that 5 to 7 minutes every time I smoked it. What? Crazy the things you say to yourself, eh? Just to get yourself through something. It's crazy. And you say you love yourself. There's no way you could say you love yourself when you're constantly hurting, like putting yourself in harm's way, when you know that you're not supposed to be doing that, right? And that's just all about taking control. Like if you're waiting to quit smoking because you're waiting for your life to get better, it's never going to get better. Your life is always going to be shitty. It's always going to be stressful. It's always going to be tense. If you want to smoke, then say you want to smoke, not that you are going to quit eventually, because holding that over yourself is bullshit too, right? Telling yourself you're going to work out soon, but you just never do it. That's cock teasing yourself and your immune system, right? Like there's nothing like a good cock tease to yourself. Like, why would you want to do that? Right? I stopped doing that and just started doing things, because there's no point talking about it. There's no point in analyzing it. When you got to make a move for yourself, you got to listen to the call. Right? We're going to end it there. And I am going to eat some mashed potatoes because I'm really hungry. So I'm going to go eat and then come back and do the next reading. I hope that this resonates with somebody. And please, like I said, I'm not judging anybody, okay? Honestly, this is exactly what Spirit wants to say. I don't judge people. I don't judge them on where they're at. I don't judge them with what they're doing. I really don't. I don't care. Whatever it is you want to do it. I'm just saying this is a reading about accepting that maybe something is wrong and loving yourself more than hurting yourself. Right? I'm getting depression pills too, like get off that shit. Like talk to your doctors. I'm not a professional, but a lot of these things, to alter your mind and to alter your state. Like I once knew a woman who started doing shock treatment instead of love herself. She wanted to erase her memory. You can't erase your memory. It's impossible. Even the points where I've tried to erase, I know are still there. I just choose not to think about them to open up a memory that I want to delete, right? Like you have to get through things, not shock your system into letting something go because you can't control yourself. Of course you can control yourself. Listen to how dumb that sounds. You can control yourself. It's not hard to do. It's called loving yourself. You're the first one that has to support you, right? Nobody else. I can't stand that shit when people can't support themselves and they're looking for outside support all the time, where it's like, you've got to make a decision for yourself eventually. You can't just keep listening to what everybody else and expecting everybody else to help you, right? Because that's not the way that it is. That's codependent. Do you really want to be codependent on something, or do you want to live your life and free yourself from feeling like you need something that's hurting you to like you? Again, it it's not adding up. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay. It's only going to resonate with a few people, honestly, and wait for the next reading. There's going to be a lot coming out. All right. So don't worry. Personal readings, whitneymoonshine@gmail.com. If not, just enjoy the channel. Memberships, $4.99 a month. Doing another reading for them either today or tomorrow, getting back on that. Constant readings for members. Obviously, subscribes and memberships, all on my things of list to do. So don't worry. Everyone's getting readings, okay? And yeah, I'm not an expert. Please double check with everything. These are tarot cards. They line up. I channel. I say what I feel. If it doesn't line up, trust me, I ain't trying to say that I'm God, okay? I'm just trying to say I'm a fucking medium. That's it. Because that's what I do. Yeah. Be good to yourself. Be good to your family. Love yourself. Peace out. Word to your mothers. Gangsta.